Coming up on this episode of the Spiro podcast.
That's a lot of data for your competitor to have. I mean, just think like if your competitor in town knew all of your clients, had your top client list, what would they do with it?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to call them.
Welcome to the Spiro podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. With your hosts, Todd Kivimaki and Craig Magrum.
Hi, and welcome to the Spiro podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. Spiro is a software platform designed to help you manage the everyday business of what it is that you do and really help you scale your real estate marketing business up. I'm Craig Magrum, host of the Spiro podcast, and with me each and every week, most each and every week, our co-host and Spiro owner and founder, Todd Kivimaki. Good to have you back this week, Todd.
Hey, it's great to be back, Craig. We missed a week, everyone. Y'all, I'm sorry we missed a week. We are back now. Craig and I have gotten all the stutters out, or a lot of them out.
Yeah.
You guys won't hear it. We did it just before this, but it is good to be back. I'm a little rusty. Honestly, it's my fault we were not on last week. I took a vacation. I was gone for a long weekend.
How dare you, Todd?
Well, I feel bad because it's, I had to say no to something. I think in business and being a business owner, you have to say no to something. Unfortunately, I had to say no to this podcast. We were leaving on a Friday. We record on Friday. I just had to make the choice. There was other things I couldn't say no to. But yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah. I'll just say, I think our listeners are cool with the idea that, you know what, you're human and we all need breaks and need to refresh and recharge. So I don't think any of us, need an apology or think an apology is needed. I mean, it's important to be able to continue to run a successful business. You've got to have time with your family and downtime where you're not thinking about the business, just to recharge yourself. On a personal and even spiritual level, emotional level, whatever it is. So I'm glad you were able to get away. That's a good thing.
Well, I appreciate that, Craig. I think it is a common misconception, though, in the world today that working and overworking is the way to success and happiness. I'll have to say I'm 40 this year. I've been doing this for 19 years. I started it 19 years ago. And I will say in my mid-20s, late 20s to early 30s, I had this misconception that, hey, I'm just going to grind it out. That's a word. Maybe I'm showing my age a little bit there, but that's a term that's like, hey, just work 16 hours a day and you're doing the right thing. Craig, I struggle with this one because looking back now, like I don't know that that's the right thing. I mean, I missed a lot of things. I mean, I was gone a lot. I built something that I'm proud of and that I'm still building. But if you're out there and you're doing that right now, you're probably feeling a little overwhelmed. It gets heavy. It is. Yeah. I enjoy working. I love the work. Like I am energized by it, but you can only work 70 hours. I hate to say it. So many weeks in a row, so many years in a row until you turn into a different person. This is not a therapy session, but I remember when I would not work and we'd be at friends' houses, and these are our good friends. This is prior to kids. And I would sit there and I was a zombie, and our friends were like, Todd, are you okay? I just would not have anything to say. And you all know me. That never happens. I always have a lot to say. But my friends are looking at me. These are people I've known my whole life. And like, hey, Kiv, you all right? That's my nickname. They call me Kiv. It's the first four letters of my last name. Like, you okay? I'm just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm just tired. And then I was this zombie. So anyways, if you are that right now, I feel for you. There is a better way to do it. There is a way to say no to something and actually yes to something else. But if that's you, I feel for you. Email me. Sometimes you just need to talk to someone. Email me, call me. But there is a better way than working 15 hours a day.
Yeah. Like you said, that's not the topic of this podcast, but we want to be real and human and just be an encouragement to you listening. Because we know if you're most likely you're an owner of your own business. And I've been there as well. I've owned and run my own business. Sometimes you feel chained to it. Like I can't I can't let anyone down, and I need to be successful. And this is what success is the grind. Like you said, I'm 40. I've got 7 years on you, Todd. I'm 47. My dad taught me a hard work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want to be successful, you got to work hard. I agree with that, but culturally, I think at least for a couple of decades, we took it too far with
right.
putting our family on the side. So yeah, just want to be encouragement to you. There is hope. You can say no, pace yourself, give yourself some time. So I hope that's an encouragement to those listening and watching this morning.
Yeah.
All right. So got some things we're going to tackle. We have a hot topic this week, but before we get to that, PMRE is going to be here before we know it, Todd.
It is. It's coming quick. It is the beginning of August. PMRE is the beginning of November. PMRE is the conference for continuing ed in the real estate media industry. Brandon Cooper, our good friend, puts it on every year, and he does a fabulous job. And this year will not disappoint as well. If you want to find out more, this is maybe one of those times where you do a little bit of resting. Maybe this is a way, if you are hustling right now and you're grinding and you want to feel good about taking a break and you're like, hey, I'll just say I'm going to take a break at this conference, but it's still education and I'm building my business. Right. Maybe that mentally that makes you feel better. I would suggest taking a look at it. We were there last year. I'll be there again this year. Nick will be with me. We're in booth 10 this year. We're down a couple booths, but we will be there. You can find out more at PMREconference.com. They are announcing more and more speakers as the weeks go by. They've got a great lineup. It's a great time to connect with people in the industry. If you want to save a little money off your ticket, don't want to miss this. Always trying to think about you guys and how we can help you. If you want to save a little money, email me. I have a discount code to save you $50 off of your ticket.
Yep.
Email me. Yeah. Thanks, Craig. Todd. You guys can get me. hello@spiro.media.
There you go. All right. So Spiro, what is Spiro? Gave a brief introduction to it right at the open. Obviously a software platform to help you manage and grow your real estate, photography and videography and marketing business. But Todd, do you mind sharing just a little bit, just a brief overview of kind of the workflow of Spiro? How does it work for that business owner that's out there listening or watching right now?
Yeah, Craig. So we created Spiro because we needed a solution. And I created this 19 years ago when I was still in college and I was going to school for computer science. I actually wrote the first version of it. I did the coding of it because just naturally I was like, hey, I'm going to put a lot of jobs through a system and I need to manage it in a system. And this is just the iteration 19 years down the road. We revamped everything about 2 years ago. So it's all the latest architecture and infrastructure. But basically, it's going to take everything from your order through the scheduling, through walking your photographers through the shoot day, having an idea if you are a business owner and you have photographers in the field, managing them, knowing where they're at, communication with all your clients, and then of course the media upload and delivery, single property websites with multiple different templates, download pages, marketing materials, full service billing. So Spiro takes care of all of our billing. We used to do it manually by hand. It saves us tons of hours every week. Communication with your editors, full task build out that automatically shares folders with your editors. You can track the task of your editors or admin teams, your virtual assistants. So we build it out of the need for us. Y'all remember, we are a real estate media company. Our company is called Wow Video Tours. We shot 12,000 tours last year. We have 20 some photographers in the field. We're still a small company though. We're not a huge company. We are a small company, operate out of mainly Ohio and a little bit of the surrounding states. But we have Spiro because we needed it. It manages our business. We had people off this week. We had people sick. I was up and scheduling this week using Spiro. Okay. So I'm placing orders. I'm using it. We do it because we had to do it because there wasn't anything else out there that could accommodate our needs. We'd love to show it to you. If you're not in it, check it out, spiro.media. You can sign up for free. It doesn't cost anything to get signed up. You can play with it, book a call with me. I'd love to show you.
All right, Todd. So let's dive into the hot topic that exploded all over online on social media groups related to our industry. How do
Yes.
we introduce this exactly?
I don't know that we have to.
Yeah. Let's just dive into it. The news that Zillow has acquired Aryeo. Has created a lot of conversation right now. Obviously, Aryeo, one of our competitors, and everybody knows Zillow. So let's just dive into this and discuss, what does this mean for our industry, Todd? What does it mean for individual real estate media companies, like ours, and we could name all sorts of names, but how does this affect us? Let's dive into this.
Yeah, I have been reading all of your comments. Number one, some of you guys spend a ton of time on social media. I've been trying to keep up with this week. I mean, I had some late nights because I'm, keeping up with the news, and a lot of you have reached out. A lot of Aryeo users have reached out specifically and hey, get me off of this platform. So I've been trying to keep up with you guys and trying to keep up with the buzz on social media. And, So Craig, I always try to step back and really look at it from 10,000 foot view.
Right.
I don't know if you guys remember, but Zillow tried this with being a realtor not many years ago. So Zillow went into buying homes. I think they called it their iBuyer, where they would buy and flip houses, and they have Zillow realtors in different communities. So one interesting thing, let me start with this actually. I'll give you guys some stats. Here's what Zillow from 17 to 22, so the last handful of years here, this is what their net profit has been. And it's been a loss every year. So Zillow lost $94 million in 17, $120 million in 18, $305 million they lost in 19, $162 million in 20, they lost $528 million in 21. $500 million, right? $528 million. And then they lost $101 million in 22. So Zillow operates at a level that's way different thinking than any of you or I. So I'll be transparent. I've bootstrapped every one of my businesses. Okay. So I've bootstrapped WOW. I'm bootstrapping Spiro. What bootstrapping means for these who don't know means like I've written the check for everything it's taken to build both of those companies. I have not taken on outside funding.
Right.
So the first thing with businesses this size of Zillow is it's way different thinking. And I'll 100% be transparent that I don't get that thinking. I'm not built that way. I'm built more of a profit first mentality. And I'll also have to say, like, I don't need a ton of money. Do I want to make money? In my 20s, if you say, hey, Todd, do you want to make $20 million, $50 million? Yeah, I'm trying to make it. That's why I work 15 hours a day. I was, my thinking wasn't straight, but I live a relatively simple life in the cornfields of Northwest Ohio. I've got 3 kids. I drive an older car. We have a house that we're very blessed to have. I don't know. I wear about the same shirts every day. You guys probably, if you watch us on YouTube, like I just cycle through the same 15 shirts. I move them down. I pick the next one. Guys, what I'm trying to say is this is.
I'm wearing this one almost every podcast. Yeah. Some shameless self-promotion there. Sorry.
Appreciate it. Yeah. So guys, I will be transparent to say I don't 100% agree with business like this. Like they are taking on billions of dollars every year and they are just trying to make something very large work. That just seems so wasteful. Like they lost $528 million in 21. Like all of you guys listening, all the real estate photographers out there combined didn't make anywhere near that in 21. We made a fraction of that. If you add up all of our revenue, like we made a fraction of that. So one, Zillow tries things. That's my point. Zillow is trying things. Zillow tried this iBuyer way back. Yeah, I think that was in 17. No, and 21. I apologize. Okay. 21, the big loss. So I'm just reading here. Sorry, I'm switching between articles, trying to get my facts straight here. Zillow lost 880 million on that flipping business. That was 21. So they made a little bit of money to make up for the 880 million loss, but they still lost $500 million. So Zillow is trying things, and they are frantically trying to make money. And this acquisition shouldn't be a surprise, because Zillow acquired a few companies prior to this that had to do with showing times, and then they also purchased another real estate media company. So the data is big to them, quite honestly. And I know Aryeo is a competitor of ours, but they were built to sell. Everything about their model was built to sell. Their pricing, they took on the funding, the way that it all made sense when it came out. And I know some of you guys were hurt by it. I'm sorry you're hurt by it. What it means, I guess, what it means to you guys. So now Zillow has photographers in your markets. Craig, remember we talked about the Zillow brokerages, or the Zillow targeting brokerages. We talked about that probably 2 months ago. So now Zillow is walking into real estate brokerages saying, hey, we have photographers. Can we shoot our Zillow 3D for you? And we're going to give you a premier spot in our listings.
So you mentioned the data issue, and that Zillow's doing this. And one of the things that I read, the biggest concern I've read from others is, Zillow's not going to have access to all my data, my customer base, and that's not cool. One of the responses I read was Zillow has supposedly said they won't have access to people's companies' data, but the crux of the issue is it's showing time that is actually now tied in with Aryeo. And will showing time have access to the data? I think we're starting to play semantics with who has access to the data.
Right. And now if you go back and read their terms, I've seen a few screenshots of it. It defines what happens in an acquisition, and it defines those things. And now what you have to do is you have to play another game that I don't agree with. You have to play the legal game with a giant, with Zillow. Yeah. So Zillow knows. So what are we going to do? So an individual photography company, are you going to take Zillow to court because they took your data? Are we going to unite? That was something, speaking of the conference, Craig, that was something that I had some very good conversations with some individuals out there. Yeah. David and I talked about copyright. I talked to some of you other individuals about just like support. But how as an industry, excuse me, everyone, how as an industry can we take this and fuel us to combine us together? We're always going to compete. That's okay. Competition's a good thing. But how can we use this, and how can we get smart now and say, wait a minute, we're playing against a company that they're cool losing $500 million.
I still can't comprehend that.
Yeah. So how can we use this? Because now they have a lot of data out there. They know client names, they know volume, they know the prices that they've paid, they know the frequency of the data that they've done, they know the average sale price. That's a lot of data for your competitor to have. I mean, just think, like if your competitor in town knew all of your clients, had your top client list, what would they do with it? Mm-hmm. They're going to call them. They're going to call them.
Part of what I wanted to try and do in this episode, Todd, was I almost wanted to do, for lack of a better term, good cop, bad cop. I wanted to try and look at be an optimist and, how is this good for people? And one of the thoughts I had was, okay, so, Aryeo being acquired by Zillow, is that going to give Aryeo more resources to be able to serve their users better? More access to capital to fund, further support and customer service, because that's an important thing in taking care of, subscribers is supporting them. So are there? I try to give the benefit of the doubt in things, but
no, I appreciate that. Please do.
But I struggled. I'm going to be honest. I struggled. That's the one thing. If I put myself in Aryeo's shoes, if somebody I read it was a $35 million buyout.
Yeah.
If somebody comes and offers you individually $35 million and you've put a lot of work into this and that, this is valuable, can you blame it? But man,
that's it. Craig, I read that a lot. You can't blame him. You know what, guys? I think you can blame him. I'm just saying, like, the message of the company, now looking back, and hindsight's always 2020, but they built it to sell. Everything about it they built to sell. And now we don't know financially what it looks like. I know what it cost to build Spiro. It's a number I'm not going to give out, but it was nowhere near what they raised. And again, I am bootstrapping this. Like, I wrote the check for every single thing that had to be done with it. And if you email Spiro, you know who you're getting right now? You're getting me.
Right.
Because I'm building this. I'm literally throwing this on my back. I've got a team that helps me. But if you're emailing in, you're getting me. I'm walking you through this because I believe in it. So, but I built it for wow. I built it because I had to have a platform that did the things that we needed to do to sell to brokerages, to manage our tasks, to manage our photographers, all the invoicing. So I don't know. I guess you can't blame him because it was their company. It was their company values. They built it. We just didn't. A lot of you didn't know that out there because they didn't say, "Hey, we're building this to sell."
Right.
He accomplished what he wanted to accomplish. So congrats. It puts a lot of data in our competitors' hands.
Right. Something you mentioned at the beginning of the episode, Todd, that I come from a nonprofit ministry background. I worked in Christian ministry for a long time, and we don't trumpet that. But that's the core of who we are in terms of our values. And something you said at the beginning of the episode was, you don't need to have a ton of money. Yes, we want to take care of our families. We want to be able to pay bills and do some nice things, but that's not primary motivator for you. And it comes out of, I don't normally do this, but I'm going to go here because I want listeners and viewers to understand who we are as individuals and what's important to us. We are a small company. You mentioned that, but there's a passage in the book of Proverbs that basically the writer says, Lord, don't give me so much that I forget you, but not so little that I'm forced to steal. And it's that philosophy in life of being content in all circumstances. And yes, it can be hard when things are tight financially. And yes, it's nice when you're blessed financially. And who doesn't like that? I mean, let's be honest. Who doesn't like having plenty of money? But if that's what primarily motivates you, that's just not who Spiro is. We love the work that we do. I can honestly look at the realtors that I shoot for and do business development with here in our Toledo market. I can look them in the eye and say, I love the work I do. And that's part of why I'm back doing this. I stepped away from it for a time, but I really enjoyed the relationships I've built with the realtors. I know we're serving homeowners, and home sellers well. We like the work we do. It's a creative outlet. And that's what drives Spiro is, we build it for us, but then we know that this could benefit other people as well. So if we can help other businesses be successful and give you a platform, I was the first official outside beta tester.
You were, Craig.
Spiro.
Yeah, and you got the old stuff.
I did. I got it before this whole scheduling module. I was still doing Google Calendar, but it allowed me, and I'll just share this with those that are listening. I was a 2-man operation. I started with just myself doing photos and video tours. Things started to grow, especially once I started using, before it was called Spiro. And it allowed me to scale from doing like 2 shoots a day max, with editing and everything. I was doing all the editing myself. I wasn't as fast as some people out there. So maybe somebody could do 3 or 4 a day and still turn everything around. But Spiro allowed me to scale up to like doing 6 to 7 a day. And eventually I hired another photographer because we were able to serve our clients well. And we were doing up to, 14 a day. And it was because of the platform Spiro that, yes, I paid a subscription fee just like anybody else does. But it allowed me to scale my business just as a 2-man operation to the point where I could take care of my family decently. I wasn't getting rich, but it was easier than working in nonprofit ministry. I will tell you that. And I had the opportunity to build real relationships with people. So I love the work that we get to do. And if we can take this tool called Spiro and help others enjoy the work that they do and take care of yourself and your family financially, that maybe I'm speaking out of turn, Todd, but I think that's what drives us primarily.
Yeah, thank you for that, Craig. And it is, it's the individuals of our users right now that are saying, hey, our users our realtors are placing orders on their own and we're scheduling and we've got jobs. I mean, that's exciting to hear. And I would have never understood it when I was 20 something. I don't know, you guys, this is a little bit of epiphany and coming full circle, but as you grow older, life has a funny way of changing the importance of things. And, just like Craig, I'm not shy either. Like God had a huge part in it in my life. And when you realize that things that were heavy and things that were important to you are no longer important. And it's very freeing. It's, I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to take this on a whole nother level, but if you are struggling out there, there is an easier way than to feel like you have to fight every day. You don't have to fight every day. You really don't have to. It shouldn't be.
Todd, it's interesting. We said at the beginning of the podcast, we started kind of on this philosophical, almost spiritual tone of work. And we said that's not the topic. And then we dived into the hot topic, but it's come back to this naturally. We want to be real with people. If Spiro can help you breathe easier, and that's what Spiro means is breathe. That's what we're here for. So, hot topic, lots of things that can be said about the whole acquisition. I don't think we're going to say anything on this podcast that hasn't already been posted in the social media groups. But if we can serve you, we would love to. You got to make that choice, individually for your business and what's best for you, what's best for the data, that you have, that you've built, building the business that you have. And, if we can help you, we'd love to. I don't know what else to say either, Todd.
Yeah, Craig, I don't think there's anything that does need said. I think it's interesting to think about how this pulls us together as a community and what this means, because the way the realtors got out of it, if you guys don't know, and if you guys haven't sensed from being in and out of real estate offices and talking to realtors, the realtors in the real estate industry is a very, very tight-knit group. They are extremely competitive, but they know that as a group, they have to be together with one voice. And you will see that at all the fundraisers they do, all their national things. They know that the industry as a whole is extremely important. And the expectations and the trajectory of the industry, they protect that like nothing else. And I really look up to them for that. So what's that going to do for this industry? This is a relatively new industry. I would say many of you out there have been doing it 1 to 3 years. But what's this going to do for the industry? I think that's very interesting to think about. Maybe we could get to that. If you guys email me, let me know. I'd love to almost do like a roundtable group, and we could get some opinions on that. But we need to come together as an industry, because now the giant who's okay again with losing a ton of money and trying things is coming after us. Yeah.
Yep. We would love your thoughts and opinions. If you're watching this on YouTube, share a comment. We'd love to get further discussion going. And if you have some thoughts you'd like to share with us via email, again, you can email Todd directly, hello@spiro.media. Todd, I don't think there's a ton more to say. We want to try and be an encouragement. We know this is massive news. Guys, hang in there.
Yeah, I was going to say, just build relationships. I mean, this is, yes, they're a competitor, but the reality is Zillow's going to come on. They're going to try to pay photographers, and they might approach you. They're going to try to pay you $30 to do a shoot, $40 to do a shoot. They're going to try to pay you something that is nothing. And the funny thing is they're going to try to pay you nothing, but they lose $500 million a year in 21. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So we have to come together as a community, build relationships with your clients, especially your top clients. Make sure they hear from you. If you have not called your top clients lately, please call them. Tell them you're important. They're important to you. You know, I answered phones. I mentioned this earlier in the podcast, but I had people out this week at WOW. So I pushed my desk up to the customer service department. I answered phones. I had an agent I shot for many, many years ago. First name's Pete. I won't give you his last name. Because I don't want you guys calling him because he's important to me. No,
we can't give out our data.
Dog giving out my dad. Yes.
Sorry. I couldn't help that.
That's good, Craig. I answer the phone. Hello, this is Todd, Wow Video Tours. How can I help you? Yeah, hey, this is Pete. First thing he says, aren't you the owner? I said, Pete, yeah, it's so kind of you to remember me. It's been a while since we've talked, but so kind of you to remember me. Yes, I've got some people out sick this week. I'm up here enjoying answering phones. He's like, oh, it's good to hear you. He's like, I was like, what? Did I dial the wrong number? Like, no, I'm here to help. What can I do? And then he placed an order, and we had a good conversation. But if you haven't called your VIPs, your important names lately, please call them, and don't email them. Call them, give them a call, stop into their office. That will secure your relationships. Any business is about building those relationships. If you're up against Zillow or if you're up against someone else, build the relationships. That's where it all stands. Yep.
I think that's a good way to end this episode, Todd. Again, if you have comments, leave a comment on the YouTube channel or email us hello@spiro.media. Any final thoughts, Todd?
No, I'm excited about next week. I'll just say I'm excited about what we're going to talk about next week. For those of you that have used this, or I've shown you what we do with this technique, you guys are minds blown, like, whoa, I can't believe this exists. So next week we're going to talk about it. Craig, I'm going to bring Ryan on, our head of production. So I think you know where this is going, but listeners out there, I am leaving you. This is full disclosure. This is a cliffhanger, but I'm excited about this one because this one has done a ton for our media business.
Absolutely. All righty. Well, we're going to wrap things up this week. Thanks for joining us. And hey, just be encouraged this week. And don't forget to take time for yourself and for your families as well. Take time to breathe. That's what it's all about. If you have questions about Spiro, you want to learn a little bit more, you can just check out our website. It's just spiro.media. If you're a current user and you see others saying, hey, are there some alternatives? We'd appreciate you sharing our name. We'll just simply and humbly ask for that. We value every relationship. So thank you for those of you that are using the software and sharing it with others. We just want to say thank you. And actually, I do want to give a shout out, Todd. I've seen some individuals, and I'm going to miss some. So if you've mentioned Spiro in these groups and I don't see your name here, please know we appreciate you greatly. But huge shout out and thank you to Jordan Powers. He shared the Spiro name as people were asking about alternatives. Also Pete Stagel from Servant 360.
Yes, Jordan. Pete, thank you.
Yeah, good friend of ours. David Tyler mentioned this as well. I think he's a relatively new user. Yeah. So guys, we appreciate that. We really do. And just wanted to say thank you here on the podcast for that as well. So, all right, we're going to wrap things up. If you have questions, hello@spiro.media, stop by the website, same spiro.media. And like I said, just take a breath, be thankful for the blessings that you've been given. Take a breath and have a great week. Take care.
Thank you for joining us for the Spiro Podcast, Managing Your Real Estate Photography and Videography Business. This is a production of Spiro and WOW Video Tours. You can find out more about Spiro's real estate media business management software at our website, spiro.media.